Welcome to the Data Dialogues podcast, where we discuss all things data to keep your marketing fresh. Each week, our host, Larissa Bedgood, Head of Marketing, brings you new episodes with expert insights on how the world of data is evolving and shaping the future of marketing.
Hello all, thank you for joining us on another episode of Data Dialogues. My name is Larissa Bedgood and I am the Head of Marketing here at Porch Group Media. And joining me today is my counterpart, Kristen Jones. Welcome.
Hi, happy to be here.
So today we're talking about the TikTok ban. The future is very uncertain, but we'd love to just kind of dive in to what this means, what it's about, what the heck is even going on, how can your marketing and advertising respond, and just a couple of quick stats that I found super interesting when we were doing research on that. So social media ad spending in the U.S. Is expected to top 82 billion in 2025, which is a massive amount of spend. And that's up from 75 billion last year. So it's significantly still growing. And the US ad revenue from TikTok amounted to 8 billion last year, a huge portion of ad dollars that we're talking about if TikTok goes away. So there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of things that people are talking about, different sides, some are for the ban, some are not. Really the only thing that is certain at this point is that the future is uncertain when it comes to TikTok. So having that backup plan and just diversifying your marketing efforts is so key as we're trying to figure out, what the future may or may not hold. So President Trump signed an executive order on January 20th, and that delayed the enforcement of the TikTok ban by 75 days. And the ban required TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, to divest its ownership of the app to a non-Chinese entity. There was a lot of privacy concerns and so forth. And what this delay that President Trump signed into order, so the delay will allow those negotiations to hopefully find a U.S. company willing to purchase TikTok. So I'd love for you to kind of, talk to us a little bit, Kristen, as well. I know you did a lot of research in how this is all unfolding. What are some of your thoughts on this?
Well, I think this is just such a major point in, social media history, right? I don't think we've ever seen anything like this happen before. It's just such a huge event. I think that the delay is a good thing. It gives for more time to figure out a solution, right? I know that there's so many people I know that love TikTok and want to keep using it. And it has been such a driver for advertising revenue for brands. But I think too, as I'm just thinking about the whole thing, if I was an advertiser or a small business that relied heavily on TikTok, I would probably be wanting to think about other options too and have a backup plan. Just in case, because the future is so uncertain right now, right? So that's my initial thoughts. And I remember, what was it, on Friday? I think it was Friday or Saturday. I use Instagram, so I was seeing a bunch of people on Instagram posting the notification about how, TikTok's not available right now, and everybody was they were in a flurry, like, oh my gosh, like it's actually happening. And, there was lots of people like making recap videos of everything that, TikTok had done for them, lots of creators on there that were mourning it. And then it seemed like as fast as it went away, it came back. It was restored temporarily for those people who have already downloaded the app. So it was just really interesting to see, because I'd never seen anything like that. Most people haven't. I mean, I don't think anything like this has happened before. So it's just kind of it's such a big topic right now, and I think it's at the forefront of of every marketer's mind, especially those that, are involved with social media advertising. And we're relying on video, and influencer marketing in particular, are going to be affected and have to think about other options.
Right. Another thing too, yeah, absolutely, the influencer marketing aspect and so forth, but also commerce, social commerce. TikTok is
Right.
so big with social commerce, and a lot of, from small businesses to influencers to large enterprises rely on the social commerce platform of TikTok that TikTok provides. So if it is banned, there's really decisioning on not only how to target prospective consumers, prospective shoppers and audiences, but also, how are they going to do they drive them into stores? Do they use other platforms for that purchasing? So there's a lot of different ramifications. It's not just targeting, but it's how to then complete purchases and so forth. So super, super fascinating. I myself am not a TikTok user. Kristen and I have talked about it before. We're the Instagram users that watch reels like 2 or 3 weeks after they come out on TikTok.
Yeah.
But people that I know that love TikTok from a consumer perspective love the algorithm. And they've said that, if you can just fine tune your algorithm, it is super cool, like all the things that you're targeted with. And I know that's where TikTok is really strong. So advertisers yeah, I can go to other platforms, but I'm not sure if I'm going to have the same reach that TikTok provides. So, there's a lot of, there's pros and cons of going to, different channels and so forth, but you really, really need to think through what your end goal is, what you're trying to achieve, and how you want to proceed with that.
No, you're exactly right. I think it's just because there's millions of users on TikTok, and if it does get banned for good, which we have no idea what's going to happen, but if it did, everybody would have to go somewhere. Where would they go?
Yeah,
I feel
exactly.
like the most similar experience is Instagram with the reels. It's very similar, but I don't know. We'll just have to see. Like I said, it's a developing story, right?
Right. So quickly, when you and I were doing some research on just again like the economic impact, I thought these stats were super insightful. So in 2023, so this is now we're in 2025, almost 30,000 companies advertising, more than 35,000 brands spent 3.8 billion on TikTok ads. So now the last stat we gave, I think, was something like 8 billion for 2024. So if that trend continues, TikTok is or was poised for some significant growth. There's so many recognizable brands and influencers that are using it. So I think, Christian, what's really I'd love to do is just kind of dive into some different ways that marketers can respond. And the most obvious, I think, is kind of what you already talked about, is, with Instagram being so popular, but it's really doubling down on your existing platforms. So just quickly on Instagram, I think it was eMarketer had put out some research on TikTok and where would TikTok users, creators, and businesses go if the ban is enforced in 2025. And Instagram was projected to be the single largest financial beneficiary of a TikTok ban, attracting an average of 22.4% of those reallocated US TikTok dollars. That's just a broad idea of where businesses may be going. It totally, though, depends on what your target audience is. So what's right for some may not be right for others, but that just kind of gets you thinking like, okay, maybe I look at Instagram. Of course, Facebook, YouTube, there's a lot of different social channels. And beyond those social channels, there's other types of channels like email marketing and C2V and so forth. So there's a lot of options, again, depending on your goals. What are some, what are some of the maybe different social channels that you're seeing, Kristen, like Facebook, Meta, YouTube? Do you have any thoughts on those, where people might be going, or any info on the stats there?
Well, I think back to the chart from eMarketer, you had mentioned about Instagram having potentially being the largest beneficiary, which is interesting. And I mean, I think it really does track. I mean, Instagram has over 1 billion monthly active users worldwide. It's a heavy video content platform similar to TikTok, right? Seemingly similar algorithm. US and India have the largest user bases. US and India have the largest user bases. Younger audience on there, but while the younger audience is there, Instagram is seeing increasing usage among older adults.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say, leveraging the Instagram Reels feature, it directly competes with TikTok, right? Utilizing Facebook and Instagram for advertising options and exploring their short form video features, I think it's worth looking into, or maximizing your efforts on there during this time. I will say that seems to be a good route to go. Like I said, in like you were saying, sorry, it depends on where your audience is and what your goals are, but there's just been such an explosion with short form video content being such a vital part of your advertising. So, those options, they provide that.
Right.
And with Facebook, I mean, I'll be honest, I haven't had like a Facebook in a while. I just am kind of done with it. Instagram is more my speed, right? But there's a lot of people that still use Facebook to keep in touch with family and friends, and people they went to school with. Facebook has like a little bit over 3 billion monthly active users, with the largest age group being 25 to 34 years old. It's got a growing older base, but it continues to be popular among 35 to 64-year-olds. I would say, Facebook and Instagram are definitely worth exploring. And then there's YouTube Shorts. That's also a newer feature of YouTube. I will say that YouTube Shorts, as a user, I don't feel like the algorithm is quite there yet.
Right.
But it's still, something that is worth exploring. I think, with the short, because YouTube Shorts have to be 60 seconds. Mm-hmm. So it is short. It has to be 60 seconds. If it's like a minute and 1 second, it is no longer a short. I found that out when I was uploading some shorts myself.
Right.
But, you're going to have a higher reach than if you were to post a, typical maybe 10-minute video if you don't have a large following. Mm-hmm. Shorts are a good way to grow your brand awareness, from what I found. You can get more views on because it is such a short piece of content.
Yeah, so the whole point about all the social platforms is so on point. I think it's, again, depending on really what your goals are and what you're trying to achieve. I personally love the targeting via Instagram. A lot of our clients here will use Instagram. And then again, depending on their user base, they will use Facebook as well. But I find that those two have been really, really strong for our client base. The other thing I love is, looking beyond social platforms, just to diversify your marketing efforts across channels. And that's really what we preach here at Porch Group Media, is that omni-channel approach. Consumers today are not just on one channel. Even with the whole social commerce discussion, they may start on, for example, TikTok, and then head somewhere else to make a purchase. Maybe they see an Ulta Beauty ad and then they head into the store. Not all the time, but consumers are going from channel to channel to channel. So having a diversified strategy where you're covering different channels makes so much sense. And I think some of the things that we see strongest for our clients are things like email marketing. What I love about email is one of the least expensive channels, obviously compared to advertising dollars. But you own your audience. You can build it. Yeah, you can build it without relying on social media platforms. And email marketing has come so far in the way you can target, the way you can segment, the way you can personalize communications. Kristen and I do a lot of email marketing for our clients, and it's super cool to see how different types of format and different personalization and playing with subject lines can increase, decrease open rates, click throughs. So that I think is one of the most exciting channels for me. It's not as sexy as TikTok, social media, but it is reliable and it's been around for ages for a reason. It works.
It's not going anywhere either.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. What is a channel that you kind of see, being something that people should invest in, or at least consider?
Well, I definitely think if you're not prioritizing your email marketing, you should be, because it is an owned audience, right? When you are on TikTok or Facebook or Instagram, you're essentially borrowing that audience and then in hopes to convert them into your audience. But you need a place to get those leads, right? You need a place to keep them. And I feel like that's why building your email database is so key. Making sure that you have a good email database that's healthy and growing, and also having a email marketing campaign that's personalized. I would say email is definitely a super important channel for so many different businesses and brands. Pretty much, if you own a business or you have a brand, you should be really looking at your email marketing. I'll just say that. That is a great channel. You own that audience. So I would just like to call that out. And then I think something that a lot of people do forget about, because we are so focused on the digital, is direct mail. Direct mail, people think, oh, direct mail's dead. Who does direct mail anymore? Direct mail has still got it. And actually, because so many people have these myths in their head about direct mail, it is a really great channel to explore, and it yields some great results, especially when combined with the digital campaigns. You don't need to do direct mail in a vacuum, right? You can do direct mail that coincides with your email campaign, that coincides with your social campaign. Have everything be part of one thing. Direct mail can supplement that. And we've done some webinars in the past actually on direct mail, and had conversations where, the research says that direct mail it has a long shelf life. Larissa, how many times have you, gotten a piece of direct mail that you've had sit on your countertop or your desk for maybe a couple weeks, right?
Yes, I have actually I'm looking around at my desk right now, and right now I have something that I got I think I got that about a month ago, and it was for painting contractors. I was looking to do some painting. I had looking to paint the outside of my house. I had done some browsing, and I'm sure that signal was picked up, and I was retargeted. So that's a really great point in how to use direct mail. You don't have to mass and blast everybody who you think may be in your audience. Use it really strategically to augment your email. If somebody clicks through an email marketing campaign, segment those clickers and send them a direct mail campaign. If somebody does, X, Y, and Z action, you can then again segment that so only those people get the direct mail piece. So it can be used really, really efficiently for a retargeting approach, keep something top of mind as people move along the funnel. Such a great tangible piece that sits around. Like I still have it on my desk right now, and I will pick it up when I'm ready to actually, when I'm not recording so many podcasts and see
Exactly.
and see about like calling them. But yeah, it's such a great point on that. One other thing too that I'd love to mention is connected TV. And some people are still really hesitant to start getting into connected TV. But wow, I have actually purchased things when I've been targeted with a connected TV with an ad, like on a streaming channel platform like Hulu. Netflix has paid ads now, different platforms where I'm streaming. So I remember I was browsing. We have a cold snap now in Florida. Yes, it actually is a real genuine cold snap because I just saw in the news today that Pensacola got like, I don't know, 80 inches of snow. Well, maybe not 80, but okay, not 80. They got maybe, 0.8 inches, something like that, somewhere between 0.8 and 80. But yeah, the point is it's cold. So of course, as a, doggy mama, I researched hoodies for my French bulldog. She had to be styling. So I saw a ad on one of the shows I was watching for dog clothes. I was like, okay, I'm all about that. And I went to that company. I looked for that company. I think I found them on Amazon and I considered them. I did not ultimately end up purchasing it, but it was hugely impactful because I was in market. You can go to a CTV provider. They have those data signals and you just choose your audience. And the price has come down. I mean, it's a lot more affordable than you would think it is. So I love those, those different channel mixes.
Right. And I think too, it's like, the price point is better than, I would say, linear TV, right? Traditional TV is really costly. And it's not as targeted. That's the big ticket, right? You might have a general broad range of the types of people that watch that particular channel that you appear on when it comes to linear TV. But with CTV, the ability to get so targeted, right? Like you were targeted based on your browsing behavior. That's a huge strength in linear TV.
Yep, absolutely. So one of the other topics I'd love to talk about is your first party data. And Kristen and I have talked about this at length with other members at Porch Group Media. So when cookies were going away, they were going away, and then they weren't, and then they were, now they're staying. I don't know, let's just eat the cookies. But there's a lot of discussion on your first party data and how, if cookie third party, so these are third party cookies that help with your advertising, what would people do to now target consumers? And the response that we told our clients was focus on your first party data. So this is data that you own, kind of like Kristen and I were talking about with email marketing. You own that data. You own the information on who clicks or who opens. If somebody purchases from you, you own that data because now they've gone into a database. So all of these different types of data, that is stuff that you own. You're not purchasing it. And when you can encourage more people to give you data, you can quickly understand, you can segment it, analyze it for intentions. Like, okay, this person has a high intent to buy. This person is browsing, whatever it is. But there is such a rich goldmine of insights in that. So there's always something that is, whether it's TikTok or, third-party advertising cookies going away, that leads us back to first-party data. So if you have not put a strategy in place to really fully monetize that, encourage more collections, analyze it, now is the time.
Yeah, completely agree.
Yeah. So one of the things too, the TikTok ban underscores. Okay, hang on, I have to read this one.
Yeah. Let's say you just launched something and it just such a bad coincidence that a channel goes down like Instagram. You need a way to still reach people. That's why having your first party data that you can reach them through email marketing, for example. That's why that's so important. Every time, for example, when LinkedIn goes down, a lot of the marketers that I follow are like, see, guys, this is why it's so important to have an email list, to do your email marketing, to focus on your first party data, because sometimes, if one of the platforms goes down, then you can't reach your people, right? So
right. Exactly. It all goes back to what you own versus renting. And if you can't access the audience that you're renting, you go back to what you own.
Exactly.
So I feel like there's still so many different, factors that we're looking at. This is going to be an ongoing story. Try to keep a high level. But there's, the future of TikTok, there's ongoing legal battles. I mean, we're just at the, very, forefront of this. And the outcome is going to impact the future of where TikTok is headed. There is that potential of compromise, somewhere in between that will allow TikTok to continue operating in the US. It's not for certain. We don't know where it's headed. So we just really, really want to encourage you to have a marketing channel strategy, a data-driven strategy in place. Do you have any final thoughts, Kristen, kind of on, the whole TikTok, everything related to TikTok?
Yeah, I would just say, to wrap up, while right now things are unclear, we will get more clarity over probably the next few weeks, maybe the next few months. Who knows how long this will be drawn out. But in the meantime, while things are pretty uncertain, I think it's very smart and worthwhile to have a backup plan, have a strategy. You can still, think about TikTok and keep a TikTok strategy, but that might have to change just depending on what happens. And just explore other channels and other social media platforms that do exist. It just goes back to saying, like, new users are not allowed on TikTok right now. So you are going to be missing some audience that you would have reached otherwise. I think just keep monitoring the news on this, because it's going to be a developing story. It is right now. Who knows? Maybe something, the news developed right now as we're talking about it. So just follow the news, re-examine your social media strategy, look at other channels, and we'll just buckle up for the crazy ride.
Buckle up for the TikTok ride.
Yeah. So that's what I would say to wrap up.
Yeah. One final thought, at Porch Group Media, we are offering a free consultation. If you'd like us to just if you are advertising on TikTok, or even just kind of want a refresh of your 2025 strategies, reach out to us. You can reach out to Kristen or I. There's contact information included on the podcast. I'm happy to put you in touch with somebody just to kind of get a baseline of where you're at, maybe some potential recommendations to help you navigate moving forward. Happy to chat with you. But in the meantime, we hope you enjoyed this discussion. We will be releasing new podcasts weekly. Hope you stay tuned for future episodes and stay data-driven. And we will see you next time. Thanks all.
And that's a wrap. Thanks for tuning into Data Dialogues. We hope you enjoyed today's discussion and look forward to bringing you more insights and perspectives on the world of data. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss an episode.